Bring them sounds at one time.
I'm up early in the morning, to get the skrilla. Blue face pillar, the blade dealer. Make a nigga forfeit, cause I'm the realest. Niggas talking short shit, I need a million.
Big stepper, yeah, bitch I be steppin'. Coolin' kit with the flip switch, bitch that's the weapon. No drama.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access.
Legend, bring them sounds at one time.
I'm hard, and we got you. And that's it, man. Go purchase Big Pat Sports Talk merch and support the family, man. And welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. Thank you for your support.
Quarterback selected with a pick that's a relatively high pick, whether that's in round 2 or 3, or they move back up if a guy like Bo Nix or Michael Penix is available, perhaps.
So what he believes is, if the New York Giants stay at 6, they're not going to take a quarterback. They're going to take more than likely probably an impact player. What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. And today we're going to be talking about Mr. Adam Schefter, speaking with Mr. Pat Leonard. He says he highly doubts that the New York Giants would take a quarterback in round 1 of this year's NFL draft. He believes they want an impact player like a receiver or something like that in the very first round. They may even trade back. But he was speaking on the Pat Leonard show. This is going to be a reaction video. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to Mr. Adam Schefter and Pat Leonard talk, and then we're going to get into it. So let's get into it.
Other needs in a team that is trying to win now that I wouldn't guess that they go quarterback at 6 right now. I do think that there'll be a quarterback selected with a pick that's a relatively high pick, whether that's in round 2 or 3, or they move back up if a guy like Bo Nix or Michael Penix is available, perhaps.
So what he believes is, if the New York Giants stay at 6, they're not going to take a quarterback. They're going to take more than likely probably an impact player, because he said they want to win now. And that's not hard to believe, because they are in year 3. Speaking of Brian Daboll and Joe Shane and this regime, they are in year 3. And year 3 is around the time where they want you to start to win games and make the playoffs. Even though they made the playoffs their very first year, the second year didn't go as planned. But the third year is always going to be the third year. They're going to want to see some progress and more than likely a playoff berth. So he believes they will go more than likely a receiver or something at 6 if they stand pat. Or they may trade down, or like he said, they may trade up and get a quarterback. And I do believe if there's a quarterback in the second or third round that they like, they will not hesitate to take him. So we'll see. But I'm on terms with Adam Schefter. I don't believe they take a quarterback at 6 unless they're just truly in love with that quarterback. And I haven't seen any indications that they are in love with one of these quarterbacks, so we'll see.
But to me, to go quarterback at 6, when there's going to be some incredible players on the board, when they have some of the needs that they do, I think I would be a little surprised. I never rule anything out at the draft, and they could decide to go quarterback. So I'm trying to give you all the options here.
Yeah.
But if I were making a friendly wager with you, I would say they're more likely to go wide receiver or offensive lineman than quarterback at 6. But I do think quarterback is square on their radar, and I do think that they'll look to address that position at some point relatively high.
Real quick.
So he still believes we take a quarterback very high, just not at 6. And like I said, if they're looking to get a quarterback, say if J.J. McCarthy or Penix or Bo Nix drops, they may trade back up in the first round to get him. But the thing, if you didn't hear while they were talking, is he said offensive lineman. I truly believe that Joe Alt is going to go to the Chargers. So I want you guys to think about this. What if the New York Giants select Talise Fuanga from Oregon State at 6, the right tackle from Oregon State? Does that mean Evan Neal is moving? Or they're moving off from Evan Neal? More than likely, if they do that, because he's not going to start over John Runyon or Luminor at the guard positions. So what if they did take Fuanga at 6? That means Evan Neal is gone. Do they have a trade in place, or do they feel they could just bench him and let him go after this year? That would be a heck of a surprise, and I bet you there would be many Giants fans that will be absolutely infuriated if we took Fuanga at number 6 and made him the right tackle of the future, and which would say that Evan Neal is pretty much done. I would say pretty much done as a Giant, unless they feel they put him at guard and bench Runyon or Illuminor. So I don't know, but that's crazy.
Quick follow-up to what you said. You characterized the Giants as trying to win now. I thought that was interesting because this is technically a rebuild that Joe Shane's trying to take into the long term. But, and this is from my vantage point too, I agree with you, there is pressure to bounce back from last year. But I was just curious, you characterize it very definitively that way. You view them as a team that's not waiting for the future here. You view them as a team that has to improve now to win?
I don't view any team in the league as willing to.
Well, let me put my 2 cents in before Adam Schefter continues. I do believe they are pressured to win. Now, I'm not saying they're pressured to win multiple playoff games or go to the NFC Championship or win the Super Bowl, but they are pressured to win some games here, and I do believe they're under pressure to make the playoffs again because of the debacle of last season. I truly believe that if they have another season like it was last year, and they go 5-12 or 6-11, there could be a case to let them go. I will say that there could be a case to let them go. I wouldn't agree with it, but year 3, you did make the playoffs. Year 1, year 2 was a disaster, and then you had another disaster year in year 3. I believe that is case for, to get your walking papers. So I do believe they're under pressure to win. We'll see, because John Mara has came out and gave them so much support, but it is a business, and I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say they just 3-14 or 4-13 or something like that. We get another top 5 draft pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he lets them go.
To just give up and give away a season, particularly in a market like New York, because anytime you do that, you're opening yourself up to all the questions, scrutiny, and criticism that comes along with it. If they have another season that they had similar to last season, do you think the fans in New York are going to take that quietly and not?
No, they will not. Hell, they were trying to get rid of him last year after last season, after making the playoffs. So I highly doubt if we have another season like we did last year, the fans will be cool with it. Me personally, I just want to see a coaching staff be here for more than 3 years. Heck, I'm surprised the more than 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I just want some stability in the regimes. But this fan base, if we have another season like we did last year, man, this fan base would be so obnoxious, bro, that Mara may not have a choice but to fire another head coach and GM again in a short time span. But we'll see.
Not be screaming for people's heads? There's no chance of that. So even though they're trying to rebuild and restock the roster to a certain extent, they're also trying to win now. They're not trying to give the season away. They're not saying, okay, we're getting ready for 2025 here. No, they're getting ready for 2024. Despite the fact that there are holes, despite the fact that there are weaknesses, they're going to try to win now. Because if they don't win now, people are going to be angry and upset and furious. And inevitably, in this league, when you don't win, someone usually pays the price at some point in time.
No, fantastic insight there. Totally agree. You had mentioned a couple of the potential game-changing wide receivers at the top of the draft, or guys who look like they are. Malik Nabers, Marvin Harrison Jr. in particular. Which of those guys do you think will be the first wide receiver off the board? Nabers has kind of really charged forward here in the pre-draft process.
You know, I'll just say this. I go back to the combine. I remember sitting with one GM and the guy telling me at the combine, he goes, hey, I got to tell you right now, Malik Nabers is my top-rated wide receiver, and I'm not the only one. Now, that doesn't mean that Nabers is going ahead of Marvin.
Now, that I don't get where people are putting Nabers ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. I think the only thing Nabers really has on Marvin Harrison Jr. that's a glaring thing that he has over Marvin Harrison Jr. is just run after the catch. I mean, he's not way faster than Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not a way better route runner than Marvin Harrison Jr. He doesn't have way better hands than Marvin Harrison Jr. And he doesn't have Marvin Harrison Jr.'s size. So I don't see how a lot of people are putting Malik Nabers ahead of MHJ. But I do believe that it's not a far jump from Marvin Harrison Jr. from Malik Nabers. I think it's 1A, 1B. But I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. over Malik Nabers if they're both there at 6. Just to be honest with you.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Will we be surprised if Arizona takes Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 4? Not at all, right? Of course not. You know, you're talking about 2 elite wide receiver prospects. And by the way, Rome Odunze also is an elite wide receiver prospect. So there are really 3 elite wide receiver prospects, which is why it's hard for me to see the Giants bypassing those players and the offensive linemen, the great offensive linemen that are in this draft, and just saying, okay, we're going to go take the 4th-rated quarterback over the number 1 or 2 receiver, over the number 1 or 2 offensive tackle. Like,
it doesn't make sense now, does it? For all the quarterback or die people, it just doesn't make sense for them to do that. Why would you take the 4th quarterback on your board, or even the 3rd quarterback on your board, and the number 1 or number 2 receiver is right there, or the number 1 or number 2 offensive lineman is there, or the number 1 or number 2 edge rusher is there? You know, it just doesn't make sense. If you can't get the guy that you have top rated on your board, or the 2nd guy, or even the 3rd guy, you're willing to give the number 6 pick to your 4th quarterback on your board over Malik Nabers? Doesn't make sense to me, man. Doesn't make sense. That's bad draft strategy to me, and I believe that's the epitome of a reach. So just going off this report with Pat Leonard and Adam Schefter, it sounds like the Giants are going to take best player available. And more than likely, the best player available at number 6 will be a wide receiver, whether it be Harrison or Nabers or Odunze. It sounds like they're going to take the best player available, and they're just going to live with that decision. So don't be surprised if they don't pick a quarterback here in the 1st round, because I don't see them taking Michael Penix at number 6, even though I believe he's the best quarterback in this draft. I'm not high on Drake May. Maybe they are high on Drake May. I don't know. Jaden Daniels is cool, but they're going to have to run a whole different system than what they're running now if they want Jaden Daniels to come in and succeed the way that he can be. They're not taking Bo Nix. They're not taking well, maybe they do like J.J. McCarthy. Who knows? But me, personally, I believe they're leaning towards a receiver. And we'll see, because Diggs was available. And they got Diggs for a 2nd round pick. So I'm quite sure if they were not planning on getting a receiver and getting a quarterback, I believe they would have went after Diggs and got him for what the Texans got him for the cheap. So I actually agree with Adam Schefter on this subject. I do believe they're gonna go best player available, which would be a receiver, but we'll see. What do you guys think, man? I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see what they do during draft night, man. Hopefully I'll be there in Detroit and we'll be able to get that footage for you when they do make that pick. I think it's gonna be Malik Nabers, but we'll see. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that big blue join button, and talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk and join the big blue crew. And cop you some merch. I'm tired of telling y'all to get this merch. Check it out. The link is in the description. Get you a hat, get you a hoodie, get you a shirt, an apron, a bag, anything you need, we got it at the Big Pat Sports Shop. Go copy some merch, man. And until the next episode, you know what it is, man. Peace.
Let's shine, fellas.
Hey man, it's time to week, bro. We done put in work all year, bro. Let's go get this tonight, man. Great energy, great intensity. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
The pressure, throws it right to Barkley, makes the catch, starts to the pylon, and he's in for the touchdown. Throws it right, intercepted by a pancake. He just floated it, and a pancake gets the pick. Great touch. Howell back to throw, gets sacked for a 35th time.
He can't stop you, right?
Under pressure, sacked back at the 24-yard line. Kayvon Thibodeau closes it out.
Hey, y'all know how NFL man is. I know how
I need you guys. It's what I need.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access.